Welcome to Nourishing Maine here at Dragonfly Cove Farm. I'm Marge Kilkelly.
And I'm Mary Kate Rennie. And today we're doing Spring's Own Fiddleheads. They're here, everybody. And everyone knows steamed fiddleheads with butter. We thought we'd just dive in. Marge can't talk, but I'm going to crunch now.
Fiddleheads are such a wonderful first vegetable of the year. And, I think all of us, go to the supermarket or the farmer's market or, even our backyard and get fiddleheads, and we always put butter on them, and they're delicious and wonderful. But there are lots of other ways to enjoy fiddleheads, and we're going to talk about a couple of those today. And one of the ways that we're going to talk about fiddleheads is deep fried fiddleheads. And as you can imagine, that would be Joe's favorite way of having fiddleheads. So we're going to ask him to help us today with his special recipe for fried fiddleheads. Come on, Joe.
On my way.
His special batter recipe that we're all going to see and get to taste.
So there you go. You like fried things, all fried things.
Yes. Fried things are always better. So we're going to start out with half a cup of flour, third of a cup of cornstarch, and you have to mix them together.
I'll help.
Me too.
I need all the help I can get. And once that's mixed up, you take a half a cup of water and 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, and you put it in there.
So the water and the soy sauce work together.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
And you're going to see that it's going to get really thick, really quick.
Sure enough. Cornstarch, right?
Yeah, and pretty soon your whisk is going to be loaded.
It is. Do you just want to go? You want to show me the way, Joe?
So you take another third of a cup of water and you do a little bit at a time.
So about a tablespoon at a time, you think?
Yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Is that so you don't put too much all
Right,
at
so
once?
you don't-
Because you could wreck it.
Because what happens
Or
if
thin
you
it
put
out.
too much water, it will thin it out, and none of it will stick to your
Oh,
fiddleheads.
that makes sense. The soy sauce is a secret ingredient. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah. And it really, it just pops it. It just makes such a flavor difference. This is a recipe that for batter that he's been working on for a long time. And I will say that this batter on shrimp is amazing.
Yes, this can be used for any number of things that call to be battered. And you can see that it's starting to get looser,
And thinned out and smooth. Yeah.
but it's not.
Does it have to be all the way smooth before you want to dip the fiddles in there?
You want it most of the way, at least.
Okay.
There's some, by using a whisk, you're not going to get everything
Right.
smooth.
Right.
But this is still a little thick.
A little more water?
I'll do that, please. Because we're right at the point where it's going to go.
And if it goes wrong, I just want to say that I just as soon I not be the one that did
You're
that.
not the one to blame.
I'm not the one to blame.
Okay, so once you get it like that, it's
that's
like a
pretty.
very heavy cream. And then, and you can see how thin it is, you're going to see a transformation here in a second. Because we're going to take our baking powder,
Tablespoon of baking powder.
tablespoon, put it in there. We're going to take another tablespoon of the hot oil.
The oil that's been heating, and that's at 350 degrees, right? Yeah, I'll relight that. You can take that back over.
The hot oil in the batter.
Yeah.
And you come over here.
Do you do
with
those
the
together to stir? Look
hot
at
oil.
you.
You dump that in there,
You want to go for it?
and then
Oh. Does the oil and the baking powder
you watch it activates
make it bloom
almost like
like a
bread dough.
It does. It's like a yeast effect, of
And
course.
you
Baking
watch
soda.
it will It will also pull away from the bowl.
Yeah, let's show that. Wow, it does look like a bread batter, bread dough. It looks like my sourdough starter.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it does.
It's fluffy,
I hadn't thought about that.
bubbly.
And then,
You done with that now?
we take this and chuck that.
Okay.
We take these.
Now, the fiddleheads, you have blanched them.
I blanch them for 3 minutes,
Yeah.
and I also cut the tails off them
And
because
yeah.
of the consistency of the batter. You want them evenly coated, and you can't do it with a blossom and the stem attached.
Oh, I see. They are trimmed shorter. Then,
Right.
for instance, in the 2 salads we're going to do after the fried ones, we can leave the tails on.
And then what I do is I take a spoon and cover them all. And you can see the dough,
Yeah.
the batter is thickened right up.
I bet that's the key to the crunch right there.
Oh, and they are so good.
Right.
And the crunch will happen. And then we have a pair of tongs somewhere.
Yep.
And what I'll do is you pick out a couple of dozen of these and put them in there. We're going to move over to the stove,
Great.
and
Would adding salt and pepper or anything else deflate it a little bit? Or you don't want to add salt at this point?
I don't know, I've never done it.
Ah. Well, it probably
and the
doesn't need it either.
And the soy sauce.
And exactly.
Yeah,
right?
the soy sauce is the sort of
Soy
salty
is
part of
the
it.
Yeah.
salty part of it. Over here, I don't know how you guys want to do this, but you can see
Yeah, that tray can go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They stay nice and green when you're frying them, which is also fascinating to me. Because so many of these things, when you know, by the time you've cooked it, they've sort of turned into this kind of not very pleasant green.
what I do is I use a long chopstick, big chopstick, a dowel, to flip things when I'm frying, because that way there you're using, you're not sucking the heat out of the oil.
Oh,
Wood doesn't conduct very well. And you flip them around a couple of times.
Like you'd say about 3 minutes aside-ish?
2 or 3. I do it by color also.
Right.
And you just watch them and they'll start to brown up.
You can tell. Yep.
so it's funny.
And
So his thing about color is like ours about measuring. So it's like you know it when you see it.
Gotcha. And you're getting close.
they are.
They're so good.
They look like little dumplings.
They do. They do.
And
And then we've got a dipping sauce for them that's a curry mustard dipping sauce. You can also use a ranch dressing. You can use, you know, any sauce that you like with fried wonderful things.
See, this one here is getting much closer.
Little wrist action. And the temperature you're maintaining at
You're trying
400?
to maintain at 350.
Oh, 350 only.
Those look good.
350 is the optimum one, and
It's like the universal temperature for everything, I think sometimes.
It's true.
if you do the internal temperature on everything from baking bread to roasting meat to this, if you take the internal temperature, they'll all be about 205.
Got it.
Well, when for barbecue especially, because that's when it's fall
Right.
off the bone.
But I've done on bread and stuff.
Yeah.
It's 20, right around 205.
I think you should do another batch, don't you?
Oh,
Because I think
I'm
those are
going
gonna
to.
those are
Those-
gonna go away really fast.
Those have Marge's name
those are
on
the
them.
sample batch.
Ah, I see.
If you guys want to try them,
All right.
We will.
Oh, we will.
Have no fear.
these will cook a lot quicker now.
But I think one of the fun things about this again, is that fiddleheads have a really short season, and it's fun to have different ways to use them and not just sort of buy them once and have them with butter and say, okay, well, that was it for fiddlehead season. I think it's wonderful to have other options. And this actually, the first time we had these was at Shuddy's in West Bath, which is a little fried fish place, and we just fell in love with them because they're just so delicious. Ooh, those look wonderful.
So we take these, put them on there, drain them. You can take them over and try them out.
Ooh, look at these wonderfuls.
Can't wait. These look delicious.
Let's put a little salt on them.
You got it.
Our little magic salt pig.
Ooh. A little lighter.
Yum.
Yeah. And then the dipping
All
sauce.
right.
And this has curry in it.
This is
Mayo.
curry, mustard, sour cream, and mayonnaise.
Thank you.
And this particular dip is lovely for cold blanched asparagus as well.
Yes.
So it seemed like this would be the perfect thing.
These little nuggets.
Aren't they lovely? And they're so light.
And such a great appetizer.
It
or
is a
side
wonderful
dish.
appetizer. Hot. Oh, they're delicious.
Really delicious. They're still firm on the inside. They're
And
still
nice and
fresh
green.
and
Nice
still
and green.
green. And yeah, married with that crunchy batter. And then the tart mustard. What a great recipe. Yep.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Joe. So we
You're
really
welcome.
wanted to make sure that we let everyone know how many different ways there are to cook fiddleheads, as you heard us say earlier. So we are heading into 2 different salads that you could use with just blanched fiddleheads. And before we go into those recipes, we just have a couple of things when you do go to prepare fiddleheads that you have to remember.
Right, and the first is you have to cook them. Fiddleheads are beautiful, they're lovely, and they're crunchy, and they're green, and you think, oh, I just want to munch on this. Don't.
No, they look like they've been blanched here.
Yeah, but
and these are raw.
These are raw, and you cannot eat raw fiddleheads. They will make you ill. So they do need to be blanched. So even the ones that we used for frying were blanched before we fried them, and then the ones that we're going to make in the salad have been steamed. So that's really important.
And you steam them for about 8 to 10 minutes, and then you can let them cool for colder salad, or then have a warm salad. But fiddleheads do grow wild, and so a lot of friends of mine have their secret places where they go fiddling, but it's on private property oftentimes, and there's a lot of other considerations to be made when it comes to foraging fiddleheads.
So Joe went actually foraging for some of our fiddleheads with a friend of ours who picks them. And I bet he's got some Joe ways about doing fiddlehead picking.
Great.
Welcome to Joe's Way. Today everybody's been fiddling around, so I'm going to let you know a couple of things about the fiddle heads. That the reason that I buy my fiddle heads rather than forage for them, because it's a hard tell on how to tell the difference between the two. The one on my right here, these are the edible ostrich fern fiddleheads. On my left, we have these other ones that are not edible. They contain a substance that, if you ingest too much, it will permanently take your breath away. You don't want to cook them. You don't want to eat them. The ostrich fern, you want to cook it. You don't want to eat them raw. You have to cook them. I went with a forager the other day to learn the difference, and the difference is the bad ones have a different color tint of green to them. After seeing the difference, I probably couldn't tell the difference out in the wild, so I will always buy my fiddleheads from now on. When you use a fiddlehead in any recipe, they should be cooked or steamed for at least 6 minutes, up to 10 minutes, to get rid of any carcinogens that are in them. for like the fried ones that they did earlier, I blanched them for 3 minutes before we cooked them in the batter. And they blanched them or steamed them before they put them in the salads. If you're going to freeze the fiddleheads, which we do every year, is you blanch them for 3 minutes, chill them down, freeze them, and then when you take them out of the freezer to cook, you cook them. You cook them at least 3 more minutes, up to 6 minutes. And if you do it correctly, you can enjoy fiddleheads for many years to come. That's the Joe way. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. So the next salad we're going to make, or the first of the 2 salads we're going to make, is a lemon Parmesan fiddlehead recipe. And it starts on the stove with a little melted butter and garlic. And as we know, garlic can burn very quickly.
Yes.
So I'm going to bring the butters on the stove top. I'm going to bring the garlic over. It's 2 tablespoons, and I believe it's a tablespoon of garlic.
It is.
And it's minced as fine as you like. And really, it just needs to be browned and warmed up a little, softened a little bit.
And it smells so good. But then again, butter and garlic.
Yes.
How could it not smell good?
And then what we'll do is, here are the already poached fiddleheads that we can put right in the bowl. These are still, they were just done, they're still bright green, and you can just put them in the bowl that you're going to make your salad in, and we'll just drizzle the different dressings on them.
One of the nice things about starting with hot vegetables when you're doing a salad like this is they have a tendency to absorb the flavor more than if you use cold vegetables. So taking those off the heat and putting the dressing on them, and you sort of are thinking like, well, that doesn't feel like a salad, but it really, by the time you put the dressing on and let it chill, that flavor will have permeated those in a much nicer way.
It really deepens the flavor.
Yeah.
So these are at least room temperature, if not a little warmer. I'm just pouring that delicious garlic and butter over the top. Marge can do the honors. Here, I'll let you do that. Put it down. And then really, it's only a couple more ingredients. It's lemon juice. It's a tablespoon. And then you can add salt and pepper.
Carefully measured tablespoon.
It was.
It
and
was.
if and then when we taste them, you can see if it's tart enough. And then salt and pepper. I'm going to go a little easy on the salt. We can always add, right? Just a little bit. So these are, you can stir those up. And then you drizzle, I think, 3 tablespoons of finely grated Parmesan. And it melds to the fiddlehead, and it's a delicious side salad.
And
it's bright.
Yeah. And the nicest way to do the Parmesan is with a microplane, because it just sort of curls and pulls that Parmesan in such a nice way.
See how it's beginning to melt?
Yeah.
The fiddleheads are still bright green. It's just such a great spring salad.
Yum.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's the first. And the second one is almost easier because...
How can it be easier?
Right? I'll show you.
All right.
Again, we've got steamed 8 to 10 minutes. You can just put them in a bowl. And note that they do have their, necks? Tails, because it is like fresh young asparagus. I mean, you don't want to waste that beautiful vegetable.
The difference that you'll see between the ones that we fried and the ones using in the salad, as we said earlier, is that we did cut that part off. And the reason for doing that is if you leave that on, you get so much batter that it really is kind of heavy. And so taking this part off and only using this little tight curl when you're making them fried really makes a much nicer product.
And this one is very savory. And the fat for this is 2 tablespoons of sesame oil.
Sesame oil.
Yes, which is delicious. And
That is the problem with foodies getting together, though. It's sort of like,
I know, it's the aroma. And then it's a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons of ginger. I just love it. So this is almost a tablespoon.
And how did you do the ginger?
I grated the ginger.
Ah.
Yes.
So you took fresh ginger and grated it.
And then the last is a teaspoon of tamari or soy sauce. And we're going to have to get a big spoon or a bigger bowl, Marge.
Yeah.
And then we'll
There's
that.
yeah, one of those right there.
Yeah, I don't know.
One of those silly spurtle things again.
Do you want a spoon?
No, this is good.
Okay.
I love my spurtles, actually. And again, because it's warm, the aroma is just pouring out of this dish in a wonderful way and is absorbing into these fiddleheads.
And then the topper for this one are sesame seeds.
Yum.
Yes.
So sesame oil and
Sesame oil and soy
seeds.
sauce
Oh,
and ginger. Yeah. And there's another very quick side salad. Great for lunch. It's great for lots of different appetizers.
this would be good if you were having like an Asian meal with fried rice.
Right?
Yeah. One of the other things that I sometimes do with fiddleheads is when they're blanched, I will just take a bowl like this and put an Italian dressing or a vinaigrette on them and put them in the refrigerator.
So that's a third way.
And then I use them in a tossed salad. So I'll just throw them in the tossed salad and they just add a real pop of flavor in that tossed salad.
And when these cool off, you can do the very same thing. Put
Yeah.
these in the fridge and
Yeah.
put them on top of a salad
Or on top of your fried rice.
or fried rice.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's quite a collection
They are
of,
so pretty.
aren't they though?
It is spring.
It is spring. It's spring in Maine, and it's just a wonderful, unique vein vegetable, and it's really the first vegetable of the year. And
There's hope when you see fiddleheads
that's
out.
right. So how about I'll serve this one,
Okay.
and we'll swap plates.
You got it.
Yum.
Yeah. You're a little stingy. And they're finger food. Although we do have 4.
We do it.
But they are really
Love
easy
the
to
Parmesan smell,
eat.
though.
And the fried ones too.
Oh, yeah. Let's do another fried one. We'll make a crunchy.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you. So here we go. The celebration of the fiddle.
It is. There's no fiddling around here.
Couldn't resist.
I couldn't. I'm gonna grab a fork for the salad.
I went right for it.
Oh, there you go.
Well, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that Parmesan is so lovely.
It melts right on top. So good.
And the garlic has just a touch of a bite,
Good.
which is wonderful. And now the sesame.
The hero for me. I've never heard of the deep fried ones with that special batter,
Oh,
I have to say.
the tamari. Okay.
And they're so different.
They're also different. I mean, it feels like having 3 different vegetables when you've got one. And they're just so lovely.
They are. We did it again.
We did it again.
Well, happy spring, everybody. Coming on to summer. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mary Kate Rennie.
And I'm Marge Kilkelly, and we're here at Dragonfly Cove Farm in Dresden, Maine. Thank you for joining us on Nourishing Maine.
You gotta try these, you guys.
Joe, cook some more.
Please.